Was Jesus a good moral teacher? Most scholars, whether believers or skeptics, would answer that question, yes. Yet there are some who challenge that notion. I'm joined today by Christian scholar Dr. Travis Campbell, who will help address this very question. So, Travis, who are some of the scholars who might challenge the notion that Jesus was a good moral teacher?
Well, Robert Price has mentioned Jesus' teachings and has said that they are not infallible. Hector Avalos wrote a book about a year ago called The Bad Jesus, where he tries to show that Jesus' teachings, his ethical teachings at least, are not infallible. And you also have laypersons, writers like Dan Barker, a preacher turned atheist. In his book Godless, he tries to show here and there why we can't really trust the moral teachings of Jesus. But it's important to point out that, in one sense, no one's questioning the fact that Jesus was a good moral teacher. Dr. Avalos, in his book, The Bad Jesus, laments the fact that scholar after scholar after scholar sees Jesus' teachings as infallible. So notice Avalos' thesis is not so much that Jesus was not a good moral teacher, assuming that Jesus did exist, because Avalos does question his existence, but he's questioning this paradigm that most scholars tend to buy into, that Jesus' moral teachings were infallible. So it's really the infallibility of Jesus' moral teachings and not their goodness that's being questioned by some of these scholars.
Why should we care as Christians whether or not Jesus was a good moral teacher only, or whether or not his teachings were morally infallible?
Well, first of all, we all need a guide. I think that all of us understand that ethical philosophers, down from the ages, from Socrates to Confucius to Jesus to someone like Immanuel Kant, that these individuals who think about what the good life is and how to live it are very important. And one of the strongest points to be made in Jesus' favor is that he has always been seen as a good moral teacher. Now, you'll remember when we talked about the 10 facts about Jesus, that fact number 2 is that Jesus is a good and profound ethical teacher. And that fact is not disturbed at all, whether you're an atheist or a Buddhist or a Muslim or a Christian. Anybody, regardless of the worldview, can accept those 10 facts, which includes Jesus being a good moral teacher. But if you want to be a Christian theist, then you're not going to want to say that Jesus is merely a good moral teacher, because if he's the Son of God, his moral teachings have to be infallible. Clearly, God is not going to make moral mistakes. I don't think God is going to make any kind of mistake, but especially moral mistakes. And so since Jesus' chief purpose, or at least one of his great purposes, was to come and teach us how to live, clearly, if he is the Son of God, he's going to be infallible in his teaching.